Hi everyone, I'm Alexandra. Today I want to explore a concept that we don't often talk about in branding. It is brand dislike. Most of the time, when we talk about brand relationship, we focus on the positive. Brand love, loyalty, or even preferences. But what about when that relationship turns sour? What about when a brand you once admired no longer feels right and instead of connection, you feel disconnection, frustration, or even rejection? That is exactly what happened to me with Lacoste. Let's start with the brand itself. Lacoste is a French fashion brand created in 1933 by René Lacoste, a tennis champion known as the Crocodile. That green crocodile logo became iconic, not just as a sports symbol, but as a life statement. Lacoste wasn't flashy or overly trendy. It stood for something timeless: elegance, discipline, refinement. I always saw Lacoste as a brand that balanced casual and classy. You could wear a Lacoste polo to a Sunday family lunch or a chic summer event, and it will always feels appropriate. For me, the brand represented a kind of quiet confidence, a connection to French culture, to tradition, to value that felt both personal and aspirational. So, how did this admiration turn into rejection? To explain that, let's pause for a moment and define what brand dislikes really means. Brand dislike is not the same as disinterest. It's deeper, it's emotional, something visceral. According to Romani, it refers to a lasting negative attitude toward a brand. This can come from a disappointing personal experience, a misalignment of value, or even just the sense that the brand no longer respects what it once stood for. Eventually, you feel the need to walk away. Brand dislike is important because it affects behavior. We don't just stop buying, we stop listening, engaging, and sometimes even start actively speaking against the brand. And for me, that turning point with Lacoste was clear and emotional. The change didn't happen overnight. In the early 210s, Lacoste began repositioning its image, moving away from the refined sport chic codes it was known for, and instead targeting a younger urban audience. This repositioning became really visible in 2018 when Lacoste collaborated with French rapper Moi Lasquale, the guy that you can see on the right. At first glance, it looked like a typical brand move, partnering with a popular artist to stay relevant. But for many, including me, it felt like a betrayal. Moi Lasquale's public image was controversial. While he had a growing fan base, he was also involved in legal issues and accused of serious behavior. More than that, his still energy and story clashed with Lacoste's DNA. Suddenly, the brand that once whispered elegance was shouting urban foulness. It was jarring. This shift created a rupture in the emotional connection I have with the brand. The transition felt abrupt and poorly explained, like Lacoste had decided to erase its past in order to chase relevance. Instead of evolving with care, it pivoted without context. I'm not saying brands shouldn't evolve. They absolutely should. But the best evolution are rooted in stories, purpose, or in gradual shift that keeps old customer feeling included. What happened with Lacoste felt like a rejection of everything it used to be. I felt like I wasn't the target anymore. Worst, I felt like I wasn't welcome anymore. And that is where the real break began. So, what does brand dislike look like in practice? In my case, I stopped going into Lacoste stores. I actively ignored their digital ads. And even if someone I know wears something Lacoste, I find myself silently judging the brand, wondering why they still support it. And I no longer talk about Lacoste as a reference for style, heritage, or quality. This isn't passive indifferent. It's a conscious decision to disconnect. And that is what makes brand dislike powerful. It's not loud, but it is lasting. And for a brand, that kind of quiet breakup is the hardest to repair. According to Kevin Lane Keller and other brand experts, what truly builds a brand isn't just the product, it's the perception. A brand is a cultural symbol, a set of associations that people connect with on a deeper level. So when those associations shift, when the image breaks or become incoherent, consumers feel it. In my case, Lacoste stopped standing for elegance. It became, in my eyes, a brand trying too hard to be trendy, and in doing so, lost its substance. Perception in branding often matters more than function. Brand dislike teach us something essential. Consistency matters, not in the sense of never changing, but in the sense of evolving with integrity. When a brand pivots without bringing its audience along for the journey, it risks not just confusion, but abandonment. And that's exactly what happened for me. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my story. I hope this gave you a deeper understanding of what brand dislikes mean and why it's more than just a feeling.